Computer. Lights.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I get to go to the dentist after this. It's not going to be any fun because they're going to be working on a molar. And I hate when they work on molars. And just, it's a thing. Hello, Brent. So, we are doing the second half of the comic today. So let's go ahead and share that monitor up. Happy gas. No, I don't get the happy gas. I have I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I have a really high tolerance for pain. So they can drill away and I just sit there and I live. So anyway. Okay. Good morning, Forrest. from a distance, Forrest's icon looks kind of like Brent's icon, like the same kind of because all I can see is a little like fuzzy circle because I'm not wearing my glasses because I'm working on my monitor. So for a minute there, I was like, well, that's just another post from Brent. I'll see it in a second. And then I looked over again. I'm like, that's not the same post from Brent. Squinting. I always feel really old when I have to do this. And like, what are they saying over there? Okay, we're working on the second half of my comic. All righty. These 3 pages are devoted to, well, finding moment. Yeah, I know. I need one more monitor. I only have 3. Yeah, that's why I work so many conventions. Stupid pain tolerance. Yeah. I make a good spy. Except that all they'd have to do is threaten to mess with my fingernails, and I'd be like, I'll tell you everything. Oh, God. I don't know. It's like, it was very useful, though, in martial arts. Because, oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit you, guy. It's all right. Don't worry. It's cool. But you're bleeding. Whatever. It was useful there. Although one should argue that maybe that wasn't a good thing. All right. All right. So now we'll look over here at our ARC controller. And so what we've got now is page 17 is a splash, right? But then it says that page 18 and 19 should be super complicated 6 panels. So we're going to say 6, 6, and then we can start coming down recommended to 5, right? And this one's 4. And it says 3.5. Why would I do that to myself? Why would I do that to myself? What's going on? Oh man. 4. And we're down into the 3-4 land here. Okay, so at moment. right? And then this is a single panel right here because that's a drama panel. So we're going to have a lead here that leads to this panel. And then, so if you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm breaking the comic down into scenes. I know we have this scene here is going to be a big complicated scene with lots of technobabble where they're trying to find what happened to the system, what was going on, where is the planet, why is the planet not where it's supposed to be, yada yada yada. We also kind of want to introduce the fact that that they've got holograms and their systems all look futuristic now, whereas in the first half of this comic, everything was very specifically, everything was very low tech and gauges and knobs and big, huge throw switches, because we want to illustrate the difference between in space life up here and normal space life down here, because that's two different worlds in Bellatrix Rising. We've got in space life is a completely different thing. You're missing your AIs, and they can't even be there, along with the beings that are kind of like large amoebas, which I just lost their name because we haven't been talking about them. So the Jacine and the Chakrana can actually exist, and the humans can exist in space. You know, we can call your dragon Hysil. I'm just saying. Okay, so we've pretty much got all of this sort of figured out as to what I'm after here. So let's go on ahead and start drawing it in, right? We've already kind of figured out sort of what's going on in this half. I'm pretty happy, by the way, with the first half. I think we've got a couple of panels that still need to be kind of squared away, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. So, all right. And it's going to take a second to save. All righty. So we've got 6 panels for this. Oh yeah, maybe. Maybe that's not a bad idea. It's right here. Silicate. That's right. There are 5 races in the Unity, and we have to. It's hard to remember all the names. A series of books right now, which has a ton of new words I have to remember. All right. So we've got 6 panels on this one. So we open with a standard. Actually, we just might as well do this. And we'll have our beloved ship hanging out here. And we will be deploying the gravity sensors. So she's looking out for various things. So it's going to give the indication that that's what she's doing. She's looking for things now. The beloved ship Lollipop. Right? And something that happens a lot in manga that doesn't really happen as much in American comics, I've noticed, is kind of illustrating something here. We're going to illustrate that tail being sticking out here. Right? So we're showing the tails are extended, right? I'm going to I'm overlapping these panels because I want them to be connected. They're all the same thought process. I look over the back of Sergeant here as he looks at the controls. Right, he'll have a couple of hollows up here. They're saying some things. He's working these controls because that's what the sergeant does. Here's his chair folded down. Remember how I said that the chairs fold down so that the Shakrana can get on the back? And so he's kind of sitting on the back of the chair here. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes I feel like I get George bumped up against me and then there's no one there. Phantom cat. And then here we'll say this and go beep, 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 indicate the screen has found moment. Cat. Yeah, right? He's on here, he's pushing buttons, controlling that computer. And then, whoa. You need to see this. There we go. So this whole page is literally them finding moment. I actually really kind of like doing it this way. This is a great way of doing a comic because it's interactive and literally nothing on the strip except for one line. And I like this a lot better because it gives me a lot of visual things like seeing what's going on here. What? Oh, Lieutenant Sir, you need to see this. Probably even see All right. Here's one of those moments where I have kind of messed with myself by doing something specific way, right? Because now I'm trying to think it through. So what I want to draw is a panel like so. Going off, because as I said, Mikimoto is my master. And as I bring up almost once a show, the man can't possibly put anything in here that isn't, he will not stay within his boundaries. So knowing that that's the case, I am all over the place on these. So let's go off the edge there. And we're going to, what I want to do is something that says bridge, but we can't because there's specifically no English on here. But what we can do is put a big 1, right? Because people can understand 1, right? And then I put not that because we're outside the safe, right? It's got to be here. And you sure? Right? Question mark. That works. And then we can kind of do this and just like before, run off the side. Right? We've got captain sitting in the chair here. We're just going to sketch this out real quick so I know that the captain's sitting in her chair. We've got Bennett. Bennett's taller than Mayrell. Bennett's taller than everybody. Bennett standing here. We've got Sergeant here. And we've got Jacine here. Just to give an idea that there's lots of people on the bridge, right? We've already seen this aspect of the bridge earlier with her books and stuff like that right here on this side of the desk. But we're also going to make sure that we have holograms up. So you can see that she's got holograms going. And of course, here's the command and control console that Bennett stands at. And she's pulling up a report in the air right here, which shows the same thing we just saw right here. One, two, three, four, 5. Right. Page are you? 17, 18. Okay. And she's pointing to it. Maybe that works. She's pointing to it, so I know that what's going on. And so here we're going to do this. We're going to put a panel that goes most of the way across here. And then I'm going to put Mayrell in big like a full body version of Mayrel here. Right. So we've got Captain says, "This is ridiculous," and Mayrel, which you can always tell is Mayrel because she has a ponytail. That's literally the only way I'm telling these things apart. Right. And she's doing the, well, I mean, I theorize sort of thing where she might have her arm kind of like this, kind of doing something like, I'm theorizing that, she's doing I'm theorizing that it's blah, 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 blah. Right? This is Technobabble land. And so, what? Question mark. There we go. Checked 3 times. Look at the shorthand. I'm awesome. Check mark 3x. That's funny. And this will allow me to give a large explanation if I need to, where she can technobabble to her heart's content. Right? There we go. Howdy, howdy, Andrew. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. So, this guy probably should be dropped down, a la Cat's leading panel to a landing panel. So this panel lands on that panel. Right? I hear that, my friend. I hear that. As I sit here going, crap, I should have been way past this point by now. I should have been way, way past this point by now. But I'm not. So here we are. So this guy's got to be a wide-ish. I'm going to put her sitting forward. So the captain's sitting forward. She's leaning into this picture here because we've got Mayrel here, right? Kind of explaining something. We've got Bennett here standing there going, what? We've got Sergeant here going, well, I don't know why I got summoned to the bridge. And we got this Jacine back here who's like, I don't got nothing, man. I got nothing. Right. And actually, I probably will pull him from the bridge and even pull him from this scene because I need this space and he's not helping any. Right? So. Oh, yeah. I'm not. It's just that I did want to be past this point by now. That's all right. We're doing fine. We're doing just fine. The mission statement from that Raf had sort of put on me was that I need to have a complete episode by the time we get to May of next year. So we have 13 months, or actually 12, well, 12-ish months, 12 and a half months to produce two 32-page comics. We're well within that zone, but I want to be able to break back out and finish up doing Silver Pentacle in that time and stuff like that. So though I'm not stressed about this, I do want to be able to put in all of Momentary Ghosts, which is remember, it's two 32-page comics. So we're halfway through with this. Both of those need to be at the printers by, say, March of next year. So I'm not killing myself to do this, but it would be really nice if both of them were well done and completed and out the door before March of next year, like not even worrying, So that's sort of where we are. And I agree with you about not rushing perfection on this one. There's no reason to rush it. This is an enjoyable process right now, doing this way. So, okay, good. Right. I want to illustrate that she's above this frame and over into this frame so that I'll remember that. It's funny what I consider note taking, right? I don't care what her face looks like. That's not important. What's important is that I'm interrupting and breaking into these two frames. That's important. That's an important note. Because when I transfer this to the actual pages, which we're going to do shortly, when we transfer these things to the bottom side of the actual pages, then we'll start building the pages in above it. And I want to make sure I've got all the pieces that I need to have. And her on top, like this, is going to be a layer on top of all of my other layers on this page. So I need to know that. All right, moving out to the next page. So she techno babbles here, whatever she's babbling on about. And then ends, well, let's set a course. So weird. Like that. There we go. Tech. So weird. There. What's your theory? Okay. We'll go back in and we'll clean up the dialogue in here and make it work just fine. All right. Bennett. Distance in real space. Right. And, you know, one of the things they don't do in Star Trek that does bother me a little bit is they will, you know, Mr. Data, what is our distance? And Data goes, 4 hours, 61 minutes, 32 seconds. He doesn't look at anything. Of course, it's Data, so that's not a problem, but it happens in all of them. You know, Mr. Paris, how far is this thing? Well, Captain, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes at warp 2. I mean, he didn't look at anything. So I'm going to have them, you know, how much is the distance in real space? And then I'm going to have Bennett actually looking at her console here and typing things. Beep, 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 beep. More BB. Right? BB. And then what do we think would be a good distance? In real space, we put it, I don't know, a day away. Yeah. So about 26 hours. And do we have budget for it? And put her in her chair here. And put Ponytail Girl here. And our Chakrana here. Sarge is right there. All right. $16 or 26 hours real time. 3 hours for us. At 0.75 light speed. I'll do the actual math so that it works perfectly on that one. There is a relativity calculator out there. I'll get that real quick. Unless you don't spell it right. Okay. Time interval, 26 hours at 0.75 C. No, it's going to go the other direction. Okay. 26 hours gives us 17 hours. 7.5 C. 8.5 C. 13 hours. 9.5 C is 8 hours. Okay. Have aliens found me? Nope. Okay. So let's put this up here. 26 hours is 8.11 hours at 0.95 C. There we go. We've done the quick math. That way we are accurate mathematically. Let me math that up for you real quick. I just hate inaccurate numbers. For a person that can't add 2 and 2, that's funny. But I mean, might as well. I mean, there's a time dilation calculator out there. That literally took us what, a minute and a half? We've got all the math now. So yeah. Okay. Let me math that up for you right away, sir. Okay, guys. Just looking at them. Ponytail girl. Right here. Right. I can't math right now. My brain's not over the jump. I mean, really, honestly, if I can do it that quickly here on here, then Bennett can just bring up a hollow and go, beep, 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 beep. Yep, that's how long it's going to take. Okay, there we go. You know. Beep, 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 beep. Get a close up of the captain there. I'll never be able to read my own handwriting at this point in time. Okay. There we go. I like the function of a captain's log, but I think the best part about this is that she writes the logs longhand in a book, and we haven't seen that illustration yet. So I feel like this is a good point for that, right? I also feel like I have done a lot of big open first panels and not done something else. I kind of like this idea, right? So here is Kittiwake. That's a lousy Kittiwake. Get rid of this. If we do this, then we can bring her in like so. Kind of have her going across like so, like she's panning across the shot here. Right. I can't even read my own memories. There we go. So these three panels read like a line going this way. So we get the panel of the Kittiwake coming in, a panel of looking at the underside of the spacecraft, like she's doing this, and then a panel of her going behind so that she's in orbit. Then we'll. This also gives us a good transition. We need to use some of the other technobabble that usually happens in Bellatrix Rising in this point, so that we've got this. We've entered orbit and released the ball. Hey, Brian's here. Hang on, Brian. Because I got to finish writing this thing. There we go. Now I can bring you in. Brian. Brian's here.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Drawing up pages.
Yep. Hi, Brent. How's it going? By the way, that was some conversation you had yesterday with Bill.
Yeah, I know, right? It was wild.
Like at first,
I saved that whole episode because I was like, I'm going to have to go back and actually like re-listen to all the things that Bill said because some of that was just so wild.
Well, I was playing. We were driving back from the restaurant we were at, and I was. So I was playing it, and my dad goes, "Boy, I didn't know you were into conspiracy theory stuff." I'm like, "This isn't conspiracy theory." And he started listening, and he was fascinated by the discussion.
Right? Like super deep thinking here. Well, and that's what good sci-fi should do.
Yeah.
Life, liberty, and pursuit of owning a tank. Good sci-fi should make you go, huh?
I should own a tank.
Right. That's what good sci-fi should always do.
Yeah. I have no idea what to draw for this cover page.
All right. All right. I don't know. Second breakfast, we aren't sure. Like half the time, we don't know what we're talking about.
Hello, Second Breakfast. How are you doing?
Good evening, Second Breakfast. Hope everything is good with you guys. All right. We've entered orbit and released the ball, sir. Heard anything yet? Not yet, sir, but we just stopped being relativistic. Keep me posted. Aye, sir. Okay. So, the technobabble I mean, Hone didn't warn you that we were a little weird? I mean, really? We're weird people. We know that. We know that. Accept it. Okay. So we're going to have the captain here. She's just kind of sitting here. I think she's going to put her hair up. Why is she putting her hair up, you may ask? Because she knows she's going to be in a spacesuit. It's only a matter of time. So she wants to seal up her suit. So they've got
Right. This was the norm.
well, that's sort of, I think that's what Sargent's saying here. We just stopped being relativistic. So for those of you who are not aware, oh, good. Honey's getting better. Excellent. For those of you who didn't go to Physics 101, when a spacecraft goes closer to the speed of light, it shifts. Time goes much slower for the people on the ship. We just had that discussion earlier with Bennett up here, where Bennett said the ship is, or the planet's 26 hours away. Well, at 0.95 salinity, that's 8 hours on the ship. So the ship is going to only experience 8 hours, whereas it took 26 hours for the people in Moment. So once they slow down, they use a gravity projector, which throws what they call the ball. It throws like a miniature black hole in front of the ship, which the ship then falls towards. But since the ship is falling towards it, the black hole moves. So it just keeps falling towards this black hole. And that's how they get up to 0.95 salinity without killing everybody on board the ship. You're in free fall the entire time. But then once they get to the planet, they sling the ball behind the ship, and it slows the ship down. So then once they release the ball, the gravity, the waves around the ship settle out, and you're no longer shifted because you're no longer going relativistic. So
I hate when I'm shifted.
Yep. So here they're going normal space. Quantum Physics 101 would give you all the Heisenberg theories that I'm running into when you're in space. When we were talking earlier in space on the first issue up here, a Heisenberg uncertainty principle in quantum physics says that you can know the location or the speed of a quantum particle, but you cannot know both. And if you know one, you lose the other. And so that's what happens when they go into space. They lose positioning of the electrons, which are causing electricity to travel. There's an error rate within it, which allows it to still be in a like a wire. So you can still have lights, because it doesn't matter whether that electron is here in a cable or here or here. It doesn't matter where it is, as long as it's still moving in the same direction, which it would. But inside a processor, the inside like a computer, not you. Never mind. Thank you.
Huh?
Talking to Alexa.
Oh.
Inside a processor, inside a PC, you don't get to the error rate's too wide, and so that's why we lose all of our synthetics. All of the holograms shut down, all of the major PCs shut down, and everything is on just vacuum tube sort of esque technology, which is giving Bellatrix Rising a very much a feel, like a steampunk feel. Right.
Because he's keeping heavy.
Cyborgs don't. Yeah. Yeah, Brent's right. I've trained my Alexa so that the active word is the C word.
Computer?
That's the one. No, never mind. Yeah. You want to have fun? Do that, and then say the words red alert.
What, computer red alert?
Yeah, you have to say it louder though.
Oh, okay. See, that's the advantage of having headphones, is that so that your guests don't activate.
Yeah, I have psoriasis in my ears, so headphones make my ears itch after a while. I can't have ear pods inside, and I can't have earphones for very long. I can do it, but I do it under duress. Besides, one of the other things I do is get up and walk around, and every time I do, I get up and then gank. Okay. Okay. So yeah, cyborgs, I feel like anybody who's got cybernetic enhancements, like Bennett, she's very enhanced with cybernetics. Those are electrochemical. And so those don't follow the same rules. The things that make her cybernetics run are different structure. That's what I was just saying. So like Bennett, who's cybernetically enhanced, she's electrochemical. Everything inside her joints are electrochemical. So they're big wires, effectively. She can't use her enhancements because she has enhancements, but she can walk and see normally. I think I'd probably even say she might not be able to see out of her left eye.
It doesn't affect her series of tubes.
Right. It doesn't affect her tubes. There you go.
They don't know when they can be filled. And when they're filled, sorry.
I don't even want to go there. We're filling tubes now, and I'm just not.
Have you never heard that quote?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was the guy that was the head of e-commerce describing how the internet worked.
Oh.
You've never heard that?
No.
Oh, I have to bring up this quote.
Yeah, we bring it up in tubes, Jeffries tubes. So do you know, Forrest, why they're called Jeffries tubes? Because that's actually a deep Star Trek lore.
So it was Ted Stevens of Alaska who used the phrase. They want to deliver vast amounts of information over the internet. And again, the internet is not something you can just dump something on. It's not a big truck. It's a series of tubes. And if you don't understand, those tubes can be filled. And if they're filled, when you post your message in, it gets in line. And it's going to be delayed by anybody who put into that tube an enormous amounts of material. Enormous amounts of material. That is the quote.
Jeez.
And this was the guy who was in charge of e-commerce.
Right. Wow.
The internet is a series of tubes.
Tubules.
And of course, it became a meme.
right? There we go. So we'll start with moment control. Yep, Matt Jeffries. That's right. Exactly. Perfect. Good job. I just like trivia. And they're called Jeffries tubes after him. It's actually fascinating reading about how Gene Roddenberry and Matt Jeffries came up with the concept of the Enterprise.
Oh,
Well, Roddenberry was an aviator, and right, Roddenberry was an aviator, and he flew planes a lot. And Jeffries was a Navy guy, and so they were talking about how spaceships would work. And the theory was they originally had this design for a spaceship where you'd go on, spacewalks and fix things. And Roddenberry, being an airplane guy, was like, you know what? If we had to fix stuff on our plane, we had to crawl around in the plane's underbelly to get to it because he was a World War II aviator, right? So he's thinking B-17s. He's thinking, that class of aircraft where you could go crawl around and fix wires that had gotten shot by a bullet or whatever, provided it wasn't actually out on the engines on the wings. Do you still have audio?
I still have audio. Can you hear
Brent's
me?
lost audio. I hear you. So
It might
and
just be a
Boris
Brent
got
thing.
audio. Okay, we are at moment, and we are down on this one. Oof. Okay, so I've got two panels. Well, I've got 2 pages to get to The City is Destroyed. You know what? I'm going to put this in the radio room. It's time to take a 2-minute break, but I'm drawing on the radio room here. Since she's the gravitics officer, I'm also putting her in charge of radio. Not control. No contact with capital. That's not a bad idea.
What's not a bad idea?
Brent's saying I should have a panel with a massive amount of overlapping chatter coming from the planet. Help us, emergency, sort of thing, where they're trying to reach out to moment control. Yeah, because they've got an emergency band. They're probably picking up a bunch of stuff on the emergency band.
And that's when the officer goes, I'm turning this off.
Right. Click. We should probably talk about emergency band.
We should talk about emergency band etiquette.
Right. It could probably be up here and just have a bunch of other help. And then use this as help. So this changes the feel quite a bit if we do this with overlapping helps. So I've got to think about whether I want to do this.
Well, have help. What the hell is going on?
Right. Well, no, I mean, I'll go back and clean these up later. Right now, it's just help. So I know which ones they're saying. This is Star Tours.
And you need more in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really clutter that frame. Have the ship, but just have it just absolutely crushed by all the word bubbles.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It's a good idea. Yeah.
No, I don't want to have a bigger.
There we go. So then in this panel, it's Kittiwake. This is not moment control. This is another flight system outside out of blah 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 city. We have no contact with the capital, and so then she says, "Can you authorize us to land?" And he goes, "Hell, Kittiwake, if you're helping, you don't need any authorization. Come on down." Like,
you are the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Right, exactly. So, can we get authorization to land? Just come down. Okay. I don't want to not acknowledge your comment about Star Tours. I'm not actually going to. We're in stress. I don't mind putting in Easter eggs, but not in stress scenes. So only put Easter eggs in during non-stress scenes. And this is stressy.
You are the next contestant on Save Our Ass.
Right? Indicate that she is now in a spacesuit. And she's sealing this up. They say that we can and approach. Click. And just put this here as that. All right, Lieutenant. Take us in. Sound general quarters. Oh, you didn't. Oh, I thought you were mentioning Star Tours from from the Star Wars thing at Disneyland. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, you're right. Some of them should be civilian craft that are screwed up or messed up. There was a freighter out here. And one of the things we've got to remember to bring in at some point into the story is that freighter is in the center of moment right now. I mean, it's gone. It's gone, McGonny pants. The planet moved on top of it. It disappeared from its place in orbit and reappeared here on top of this freighter, which was on approach.
Well, that's a pants shitting moment right there.
Yeah, I don't think they felt anything. I think they just were there one moment and then they were gone the next. A planet materializes all around you. I think you're done. You don't notice anything. Yep. All right. Bennett in her spacesuit up here. Captain here. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what they're. That's what he says. Kittiwake, you can come down if you want. We don't need to give you permission. I'm gonna get Bennett sitting down at the. She's pulling up the chair out of the floor, so she also has a place to sit. There we go. And we'll put then a scene of Kittiwake coming through the atmosphere, like so. Then we'll go. And because it's important, they're going to continue trying to reach moment control.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Yep. Oh yeah, prep the Marines. Good call. Good call.
And when in doubt, you send the Marines.
And stand by Marines and medical. And then we'll have a large panel with that drop panel that we've talked about. And we will look over the back of the Kittiwake. There's her tails. And as she comes out of the cloud cover, right? And this is literally an action shot. Oh God. Right? Clearing lower cloud cover.
Excuse me.
And all it is smoking ruin. Right. There we go.
That might be actually too much noise.
The entire place is just trashed. There's nothing left really here. Just wreckage. There we go. Smoking ruin. They are definitely going in hot. There we go. Yeah. No, worse than Pearl Harbor. More like Tunguska. Much more like Tunguska. Nothing. Just leveled. The thing is that the senator was in a shuttle in transit. So he wasn't actually there when the city was leveled because there's no one left alive in here. So there we go. We got ourselves the kittiwake tootling along across this barren plain of destruction and nothing still around. Yep. So here we are. Again, I don't want to use a big open first panel. What is my problem? I swear, I just big into these first panels.
Oh. Could help if I have a new layer.
Yeah. No, not there. Wow. Nothing. Survives. Or something like that. We'll come up with a better thing. Layer check. Hang on real quick. Be right back.
Ha.
There we go. Get that out of my system. All right. Now I think she's going to stand up. She's the captain, so she's going to have to stand up at this point. All right. Deploy princes. That's what she was for. This is actually the best part
Of waking up as an emergency in your cup.
The best part about this is that I get to actually deploy the. Everybody's been sort of looking at my MPV and going, okay, but why does she have legs? You know, like, what's the point of making a mecha? And I'm like, this, because she's going to be able to walk over this rubble. You can't drive in it, you know, so she'll be able to walk around and search, which is what she's designed for. So, like, this is a great example of deploying the MPV right off the bat. And then, so deploy princess. Let me go to a smaller brush because I want to make sure I say things.
You know what you could do
Hmm.
that would be kind of funny is have a crew's reaction being, huh, so that's why she has legs.
Right.
You know, and kind of that be the audience character speaking into the comic.
Right. Bennett, what can you see? Bennett's down here at this console saying too much heat. I'll keep looking. So the reason I'm saying that is exactly what Brent's saying. So they don't have a life reading scanner. I don't even know what a life reading scanner would be. I mean, if I can come up with tech for it that's reasonable and not just we're looking for a life sign, I'll go with it. But if not, then they're searching for heat signs, heat signatures that look like people. But right now, everything's on fire. So looking down there, all they get is just a bunch of heat signatures because things are on fire. So you can't tell whether, is that a heat signature? Is that a person? You can keep looking. But I mean, think about it when you look at it in Fleur. If you're looking for things in Fleur and using it to search through rubble, you'll see, you know, human shaped, or in this case, Chakrana shaped, or, you know, Jacine shaped objects, and you'll go, okay, that's a person, and the temperature is at 37 degrees Celsius. So get down there and that's a person. So let's get that. You know, 37 degrees still shows that they're alive. Or at least they were within the last few minutes. So this is also, I want to make sure I put this line in correctly here. Mayrel, give Navin the wheel. And take Princess down.
Things you can say about a drawing that you can't say in public. I need to correct the size of her staff.
Take the Marines with you.
Take them.
Yep. And then I will do a long, wide panel. With the back of the Kittiwake here. As she flies along. We'll put her flaps down and extend her wingtip pods. We will show the princess on the back. There you go. And everything down here is just a charred mess. As she flies along. Nobody else has to understand it, just me. Where are we? Okay, we've got some room. So, do this. Aren't we glad we already did the interior of the MPVs? I don't have to do a new interior. That this model's already ready. We could do this panel right now. Okay. She's looking back at as she starts the pre-flight to the Marines who are sitting back here in armor, which is why they have bunny ears, apparently.
So Marines are now bunny girls?
Yep. My Marines are bunny girls.
Do they have little fluffy tails?
Yes.
This is where we start to drive Brent nuts.
Right. So Hi, Aaron. For the interiors, I use a program called Daz 3D. It's Daz Studio. And so I've already done and built this. Let's see if I can bring up. Hang on. Having problems here. Not that one. Oop, I pushed too many buttons. What's your problem, Brian? Make me push buttons.
I'm a button pusher.
You're a button pusher. I will try to show you what I do here. And there it is. Bellatrix Rising. Completes Act 1 prologue. Right, so this prologue's probably going to have to be redone because it's not on the right pages. Yay! But if you look here, Aaron, let's see if I can zoom in just a little here. That's not the zoom in button, apparently. Who knew? That's the zoom in button.
What's that? The muffin button?
Right? So for this particular issue, I already did the interior of the MPV. So all I got to do is just bring up this set, and I put Marines in all these chairs, and then put Mayrel up here in the front, and we are good to go. So that's how I do. So I'll render this on in, and then the best part about this is I can just keep rendering these seats on either side too. So the seats are also pre-rendered. So I don't have to worry about doing all of that stuff as well. So, but that's what an MPV looks like right there. No, there. So there's the MPV with the legs folded up underneath her. So I use the same program for exteriors too. I've built all of these models in Daz Studio. The Polaris is built in there, and these MPVs are, and the little starships and things like that that are out there. So they're all in there too. I was going to say, you're welcome. I was going to say something like it's going to be a bumpy ride, but that's a cliche. Hip, hip, cliche. Hip, hip, cliche. When Brian attacks, I'm on the wrong one. That's cliche, but also they're Marines. So it's bumpy. Everything's bumpy. They're Marines. So I think that I'm just going to have her say this isn't going to be good, guys. So, all right. So we'll have, I think I could probably afford the entire top half of this to show what's going on. But again, I really don't want to use the old kind of tried and true process of big top panel. So what I think I will do is a little panel like this, which shows, a wheel, another wheel here, and then latches going clack, clack. Right, and so we've got kind of the legs going there. So you can kind of see that we're underneath Princess here. And that extensor deck. So Princess is put on the back of the ship with the underbelly of the MPV connected to the spacecraft. So there's an under door there that there's a door in the floor that you can open up. But the best part is that I think I've got enough space here to sort of...
It'd be funny for that is if the Marines jokingly refer to that as the poop deck.
Yeah.
Like, just to annoy, like, the upper echelon.
Could happen. There we go.
By the way, you do know what a poop deck is, right?
Yep. They don't have a poop deck on this ship. They have a quarter deck, but they don't have a poop deck.
So I'm curious, what do you think a poop deck was?
So the poop deck was on the backside of a sailing ship, which had, in fact, little holes cut into it, so you could sit there and poop off the back of the ship. It's actually
That's wrong.
That's not?
No.
Are you sure?
I am
pretty sure that was the deal.
So it became that later, but originally it's based on a French term that's close to poop, but isn't.
Yeah, it's puppets.
But the back of the ship was actually designed to protect it from rogue waves.
Yes, but it's the roof of the cabin built in the rear. It's the rear part of the ship.
Yeah.
The after section structure, the superstructure on the back of those ships. So there isn't a superstructure like that on the Kittiwake, because she's really more of an airplane. So, but yeah, it's Puppis. It's based off of Puppis, which is the term. That's where it comes from, le poop. For stern.
When your art show becomes also an intellectual learning channel.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing about the poop deck is that it was the bridge, which is another reason why we don't have a poop deck on here. It's because we actually have a bridge. Sha. The wonderful thing about doing manga is I get to do all of the things that I love to do, like just the stuff that you can spend some time on. So here we've got clack, clack, all the releases coming out, and Mayrel says releasing clamps, and then sha, all of the air being released from the connector tubes. And it says clamps clear princess. You know, we've got her right here. We'll go. Because it is a manga. Princess lifting off. I'll come up with better terms in a second. And I have her tails rotating. We may actually use a different term because maybe free fall is better. Yep, you got it. Clear all moorings and docking clamps. There we go. I have her gritting her teeth here. And we are clear because this is not an easy thing she's doing here.
Now, is this Bennett that's doing this, or another?
This is Mayrel. She's the pilot. And so oh yeah. Definitely think of the Defiant too. There we go. Showing some streaming wind coming off of the princess. That looks kind of cool. Even the sketch looks cool. It's going to be an awesome thing when I'm done with it. All right. It'll rotate. It'll be fine. She's not worried. That's a tough little shuttlecraft. So they just pretty much it's like it's very much like when they throw Zodiacs off of the deck of Navy ships, they just kind of toss them overboard. And they just go out there and they're okay. It's the same thing. You just throw the ship out there, it'll be fine. Right? Because she deploys and then settles in and then gets into the stream. But she starts in free fall. So your pilot sense is tingling. Well, first of all, she doesn't have any flight surfaces. Everything is completely on gravitics and thruster control. So, I mean, you want her nose in just for aerodynamics, but we don't need nose in for flight surfaces. There's nothing. She's not using any flight controls. So, unlike the Kittiwake, which actually does use flight surfaces, the MPVs don't, so they don't care. So no flight surfaces, so she's just kind of in on her own here. I like that you're.
Huh?
Yeah, I like how he's pilot senses are tingling.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't think it's a good thing.
Is he twitching?
I think he's twitching. Okay, so we're going to put this here. We're going to have one of the Marines pointing out like so. And she's piloting here. So she's got controls. Yes, he's great. An MPV project like the Delta Flyer. Something with flight surfaces is great if you spend all of your time on atmospheric planets. But the MPV being a multi-purpose vehicle, which is what MPV stand for, it has to be able to, it spends most of its time doing crap in space in hard vacuum. So it uses flight control in hard vacuum, which is one of the reasons why we dropped the MPV off the back of the Kittiwake, because really 90% of the time when we deploy our MPV, she's going down to an airless moon. And so it's just a disengaged dock and then pivot and then fly down. So it's not a big deal. Atmospheric departure is a little harder and a little bit rougher, but the MPV doesn't care. I mean, it was rough on poor Mayrel, but like most military things, the pilot's going to have a hard time. Too bad.
Get back in there, flyboy!
Get back in there.
What do I pay you for? You don't pay me, sir. You're right.
Right. Like, don't forget her tattoos. That's why you can't tell it's Mayrel. She doesn't have her tattoos. On her. Just fly the damn thing. Yeah, we hate you pilots. Boot. I just need enough to.
This is your job, boot.
Yep. All right. That's gonna just fly the damn thing. I'll put another MPV right here, but she's crashed. There we go. All right. Maverick's coming out soon, yeah. All right. Right. Hope it lives up to your expectations, my friend. Maverick, that is. There we go.
You're gonna make me do this the hard way, aren't you?
Best part is that this is not a good LZ. However, we have legs, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Wow. That's a picture.
Isn't it?
That's cool. Back finally. That's so much fun. Bridge Commander is a lot of fun. And guys, we are 4 pages from the end.
Just like that. Magic happens.
Just like that, we are at 11 o'clock. Which, unfortunately, I have to go get my stupid tooth drilled on. So I can't even hang out after this, sadly. We got to go. Because otherwise, I'm not going to be able to eat lunch before I go. So we'll do the last 4 pages tomorrow.
So, what do you think of this cover?
It's very pink. I like it. I'm not kidding, actually. I like the colors.
Yay! I wonder if I should put a little pink over her.
Maybe.
Like that?
There you go. Giving it some kind of connectivity.
Yeah. It kind of tones her down just a touch. Nah, that's too faded. Definitely like that. It tones down her colors just a little bit, but ties her more into the background. What's up, snickering?
I'm snickering at Forrest talking about playing Ace Combat, and Pilots told him that he's good. I'm snickering in, what do you call that? Like camaraderie snickering? Because it's not snickering like I think he's silly. It's camaraderie snickering. I don't even know how to put it. Anyway, camaraderie snickering. Not scoffing. Like, there's a difference between scoffing and... Anyway. Another one of those words that we just don't have in our language. Yeah. As we were talking about yesterday. All right, guys. I think we're pretty much done for the day. For me, anyway. I got to go get drilled on. I don't want to go get drilled on. I do too, Forrest. We'll get there. We'll get there. So we're going to finish. I'm going to maybe try to finish these last 4 pages today so that tomorrow we're going to do artist check-in tomorrow, but maybe I can go over some of this stuff and just kind of look it over and things, because it'll be a great success to have all 32 pages here.
Yeah. That way you don't have Brent and I going, okay.
Right. Well, all 32 pages means that I can now look at the story as an overview and see how it fits and see if it all fits together. If the top 16 pages fit the bottom 16 pages and yada, yada, yada. So, anyway, it all works, guys. So I am out of here so I can go get my tooth drill on. But first, I'm going to go downstairs and eat lunch so that I'm not starving to death when I go to have my tooth drilled on because that's unpleasant. So I will see you all later. Thank you for joining me, Brian.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Sadly, Forrest, every single one of my molars has been drilled on. So I'm actually, and this is actually the third time on this molar. Because I didn't know this, but if you've had a root canal, it's only really guaranteed for about 15 or so years. I didn't know that. So once you've had a root canal, every 15 or 20 years, you're going to have to go back in and deal with it. And this tooth was first drilled on when I was 14 years old. So they've been back in on it 2 times now. The last time they put a crown on it and the crown cracked. And the crown cracked and the dentist went in there and she looked at it and she was like, I want to pull that crown off and look to see if everything's okay underneath it. Because the crown shouldn't have cracked. It's only a year and a half old. So she wants to pull it apart again and go under there and drill around in there. And I'm like, oh. And she's sitting there saying, well, I'm worried that there's not enough tooth left for you for me to put another crown on. We may have to pull the tooth and put an implant in. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well, yeah, but you can retort with, yeah, but it's still more pain.
Right? Well, actually, it's the wallet that I'm worried about.
Oh,
I mean, really,
my
like
wallet
I said,
might not survive first contact.
Yeah, I've got super
bill.
high threshold for pain. It's just annoying to sit there for an hour. My biggest problem is that, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'll come back from the dentist and probably still be pretty jazzed. So I'll do the last 4 pages and then we'll see what happens. If not, then I might do it tonight, but we've got a new episode of Picard out. So, Star Trek first. So as a side note, Brian, my wife has also commented that they want to do martial arts on Thursday nights. So she's kind of like, maybe we can do Star Trek on Sunday night. So I might actually be joining you at some point in the future here on the Thursday night meetings. So
okay,
yeah, but that's an extra $1,000. I don't got it. So we're hoping that's not where we go. So anyway, okay, guys, thanks. Comic first, Star Trek last. Maybe.
Fewer toys, higher wages.
I'll see you guys later. I'll see you. Thank you for joining me, Brian. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
And for the rest of you guys, remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Computer, good night.